Welcome back from the break. Following recent shark attacks here in Western Australia, questions are being raised around the issue of attack prevention once again. We took to the streets of Perth to hear your thoughts on the matter.
Western Australian shark regulations have been under much scrutiny of late, and even more so in the recent days with the 2 shark attacks in Gracetown last week. We'll be taking to the streets of Perth today to find out what people think about it and what their fears are when it comes to swimming in WA waters. What are your thoughts of the recent shark attacks down south?
I think very unfortunate for the people in the water and that have been affected by it. But I don't think there's much you can do about it. If you're in the water, that's where the sharks are as well. I think we've even got sightings of bull sharks in the river here. But and we don't do much about that.
Well, yeah, obviously it's horrible, but yeah, if you go on the water, you're taking the risk.
Oh well, if you're going to swim a long way offshore, you're always at risk, and so surfers have got to take that into account. And given that there was whale carcasses in the area, I think it's not a great idea to be out there.
Well, I think like a lot of people, when there was one attack, I thought that was upsetting, but when there were 2 in one day, that is a pretty serious reason for concern.
Yeah, I think it's a bit sad, but I think the first one is quite unpredictable, it's unexpected, but the second one should be avoided because there's already a lot of warning sign on it and a lot of people on the beach to warning about it, but he's still going inside, so that's pretty sad.
Do you spend a bit of time in WA waters yourself?
Yes, I'm a sailor, but not in the water, on the water, just where we are.
I swim pretty much every day at Perth beaches, but closer inshore.
Not really, because I'm not a native bird person, so I'm really not good at swimming, so I tend to avoid the seas.
Look, I'm the kind of guy that's scared of sharks when I'm swimming in a lake, so it's not going to be an issue for me. But I do feel for the surfers, and I do feel for the ocean swimmers. Obviously that's a really serious concern.
And what are your thoughts? I mean, do you have any shark concerns when you go swimming in the water?
I don't go swimming in the water that much, but yeah, I remember when I went to Rottnest, I found a dead wobbegong, and I pretty much had like hysterical, like laughing and or crying because I thought the thing that killed it was like close by. But yeah, if you go in the water, you cop it. You die.
Oh, there is always some concern, so I don't go out too far. I know the sharks are out there, so I don't go out, more than 50, 100 metres off the beach.
Well, I've always looked around before jumping over the back, and somewhere between here and Rottnest you can often see a shark kicking around under the water.
Do you think the government's doing enough with the regulations, or is there something that they could be doing more of?
Look, I understand that the ocean is the shark's domain, but it is causing a significant problem for WA, for local residents. But obviously in terms of the tourism numbers, which are clearly down, and is clearly related to that issue.
No, I think, to be honest, I think this is an area that there's like a lot of space for innovation, and there's actually like a lot of like work being done by scientists around the world about how to like avoid shark attacks. And yeah, it's probably expensive in the long run, but also the regulations that they currently have in place are just like really detrimental to like shark numbers in the wild. Like we sook about people attacking tigers in like Southeast Asia, but then when we're killing like great whites in our backyard to prevent like shark attacks, that's apparently okay. So.
Well, I don't think you can actually legislate against sharks. I think it's pretty difficult to ask to do anything about them, and then if you do, you're not likely to clean up all the sharks, and there's still a probability. So my views are that we should live and let live.
I think the sharks, it's their domain. I don't think we can do too much more. Maybe better monitoring around big events like the Margaret River Pro would help. But no, I don't. Drum lines and catching and all that sort of thing's not going to work. Perhaps getting rid of the whale carcass is another thing, and the behaviour of some of the fishermen doesn't leave a lot to be desired, leaving fish carcasses close to shore.
I'm Bas Tadros for Undercurrent.
This week, the 420 Picnic Perth took place at Pioneer Park in Fremantle to celebrate the multifaceted uses of hemp and cannabis. Michael So attended the event and had a chat with some of the guest speakers and found out more about the Hemp Liberation Group.
Many think cannabis is a drug commonly used for smoking, but it can be put into good use as well, such as for clothing, food, medicine and cosmetics. I'm here at the 420 picnic celebrating that and calling for cannabis to be legalised in Western Australia.
Well, it seems that as a society we've allowed alcohol and tobacco to be legal for a long time. Cannabis is far less harmful than alcohol and tobacco. It's only logical that any substance less harmful than alcohol and tobacco should be legalised and should be made available for, law-abiding citizens. Well, when you look at it, I mean, medically speaking, by most measurements, it causes much less harm to the person consuming it. It's also less likely to make people act aggressively or violently like some other substances might. So yes, by many standards and by many clinical studies, it is less harmful.
The impact on young people that are doing what young people do, which is push the limits, experiment. It's basic human behaviour that teenagers, young fellas, young people in general will push the limits. They will experiment with this stuff. There's no two ways about it. And the only difference between me and a young fella that's been caught with some cannabis, who's consequently going to have a criminal record, it's going to affect his employment opportunities, it's going to affect his opportunities for travel. The only difference is that I didn't get caught. It's ludicrous. If those kids are able to do that, experiment with it as they will probably end up behaving like most people who do experiment with cannabis or use cannabis, is that they use it sometimes, infrequently, and have a normal, productive, healthy life without a criminal record and without the stigma that comes with that.
So cannabis should be legalised in Western Australia to create a new boom climate. If we follow the models like Colorado and California in America, those states are just booming. They're making billions of dollars from cannabis industry. Western Australia operates really well under a boom climate. We're used to having boom from the oil industry. The difference between this cannabis and the oil industry is that the oil industry is owned by overseas companies. If we create a cannabis industry in Western Australia, that will mean that it will create local businesses, which means that more money ultimately for Australians instead of sending the money overseas to multinational companies.
Tell us about your company and some of the products that you have.
Fantastic. Well, we are the Margaret River Hemp Company and we have a stall in Margaret River and one in Fremantle, and we work heavily with hemp. So basically what we are doing is hemp is a fantastic moisturiser for the skin and the body, and also it's just been legalised in terms of food. So we're making products, hemp protein, hemp chocolate, flowers, and we've got it all coming from Margaret River. Yeah. So, yeah, we make shampoos, products for fellas, ladies, and we also have the food. And everything is sourced from Australia. So we'd like to use products that are from Australia, and we have our own farm down in Margs, so we're hoping more and more to push through with that and to get our own West Australian seeds and West Australian protein. Okay, so this is a hemp burger. So a lot of people might not realise, but hemp seeds are actually a superfood. They are high in protein and they have heaps of omega-3 in them. I'm a vegan, so I have to try and find my protein and omega from other places than animals, and hemp is a really amazing solution for that. So this is a vegan burger, and yeah, it's made out of hemp.
Yeah, thanks. Are there any more hemp products available on your food stalls today?
Yeah, there's hemp protein balls as well, and there's also hemp hot chocolates made out of hemp milk. So I implore dairy farmers to question what they're doing to the animals. Look at hemp milk, because no one is currently producing it in Australia, and it could be the next big plant-based milk. Yeah, I think that what we need to do is just start to get ourselves educated about cannabis and start having a look online, do some research, try and see if there's any kind of part of the industry that you would like to be a part of, and let's just all get together and make this happen.
This is Michael So at the 420 Picnic, reporting for Undercurrent.
Well, that brings us to the end of this episode of Undercurrent. Thank you so much for joining us. It was actually our last episode for season 23. We're going to take a short break and we'll be back very soon with season 24. We look forward to seeing you then.